Sponsored by Anthony Mendez.
AM 1220 KDOW and Money 2.0 present The Real Estate Report with Tony Mendez and Gordon Hines. Bay Area real estate and mortgage experts with over 25 years in the business. Now, with an in-depth look at this week's local and national real estate news and what it means for you. Your hosts, Tony Mendez and Gordon Hines.
Welcome into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon M. Hines.
Gordon M. Hines for... It was Merry Christmas.
And now it's money.
Now it's money.
Year 2019 is well on this year. It's the year of the money as far as I'm concerned. So we're looking forward to a brand new year, a brand new start, and we're looking forward to things going well.
Well, this is the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez. Again, that's Gordon Hines. It's a call-in show, 800-516-1220. You can email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. That's Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. 2019 is going to be one of those years, Gordon, that I know is going to have some sort of shake-up with it, whether it's going to be rates or it's going to be home prices or it's just going to be maybe just a gangbuster year again, where we see rates kind of still hover. Right now they're hovering about 4.45% according to Freddie Mac. And if we have rates that kind of, ebb and flow from that number, they don't stray too far. I think with the amount of inventory that's hitting the market right now, and we're going to hit a report later on about that, we're going to see a lot of people being able to buy a house.
Well, it's a pre-year. When I say pre, I mean it's a pre-election year. Pre-election is 2020. Of course, the biggest thing is going to be presidential race in 2020. A pre-Olympic year, by the way. Many people out there listening to the show know I'm a great track fan. Ran track myself, so it's a pre-Olympic year. So next year, 2020 is going to be the Summer Olympics, of course. So a lot of things normally happen in what I call these prep years that leads up to the finale of the year that is kind of precluded itself for. So in 2020, everything, the stars all supposed to line up. So 2019 is just going to be the lineup year. Forget the stars to line up in the direction that we actually want them to flow, especially in our business. Our business is, we're always months ahead. We always move on a forward calendar, just like the stores. Right now, if you go into the stores right now, if you're a merchant, they're buying for Easter, and if you got to get out in front of your calendar, that's what we do. We plan for. We already finished the first quarter. We're already in the second quarter of planning already because our 2019 is well on its way.
And there's a lot in store for 2019. Some of the news that we are getting is very interesting. I'd like to talk about, like newly constructed homes. They're seeing some of the largest cuts in home prices right now. In fact, California leads the nation in price cuts as high as 37% on new homes, or 37% of new homes are taking price cuts. And we lead the nation, places like Columbus, Ohio, Charlotte, Dallas, Texas. I think Denver leads the nation with 40% of the new homes are taking price cuts. So we're seeing builders looking at the market, and they did National Association of Home Builders did a study. They said if the home price goes up just $1,000, over 100,000 people in the United States will no longer qualify. So that's just a 1,000 increase in the median home price as opposed to maybe 5 or 10,000. And as that goes up, more, less and less people qualify. So they're starting to recognize that, okay, either we're building homes that are too expensive, or we're just going to slow down, which we saw in the last recession. We saw home builders just kind of stop building. You know how they build it in phases, and they go, okay, we can build this phase, and then they sell it, and then they go, oh, the economy's not doing so well, but maybe it'll extend another 6 months. Okay, we'll build this next phase. And then 3, 4, 5, and 6, they just don't finish once the economy tanks. So builders can have the ability to do that, but I like the new home strategy here. If you're looking at a new home, I think home builders are starting to look at more of these concessions and price cuts.
Well, new home sales is interesting. As a builder, developer, you purchased a plot of land, let's say in 2017, you go through all your pre-plan, your permits, your plans, your construction, all your entitlements. And then let's say you're ready to build in 2019. But your budget was based upon when you acquire the property. You kind of do from forecasting, and you kind of project what your price is going to go. Come 2019, now you're ready to build. Let's say lumber has gone up, everything has gone up. So you kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because you really can't lower your prices that much because that's how your plan is actually budgeted for. So it's a game that you got to kind of work through. You hope the economy kind of catches up. You start to drop your prices to lure more buyers in, and as you add those amenities warranties on those upgrades, kind of make it back in that kind of direction. So it's a unique business, unlike our business. We're always looking ahead. They actually have to look back to look ahead to see which direction they're actually going to go.
And they do a really good job at that. And the other numbers that we look at are existing homes and existing home sales. California, their existing home sales, they're down. Overall, 12% down year over year in December, but inventory is up 31% overall. What do you make of those numbers? So the math is there's less sales but more inventory. Okay, that means so if there's the same amount of buyers, that means they're just not buying. So the math is playing out in favor of the buyer right now. So we can call 2019 a buyer year.
Well, we just came off of a seller's, not year, seller years. So if you're looking at existing home sales always the past. And just like when we do an appraisal, the appraisal is based upon what past homes sold for. You're trying to project what the value of your particular property is based upon past sales. But if you have a property where you have now many properties on the market, more inventory, and the same identical home is now listed for 30% less, so we can assume it's going to sell for a minimum of, let's say, 20% less. That's a projection. So your value could be overvalued simply because the appraiser is actually using the comparison sales analysis, something that has already happened. So it's the same thing. It's a cat and mouse game no matter which way you look at it.
And we saw that a little bit near the end of 2000, actually more right at the beginning of the fall. We saw a lot of price reductions, especially homes that are over $1 million, closer to 1.5, coming down to like 1.4, 1.3. And they were and then those turned into comps, and then those turned into comps, and those turned into comps, and it's kind of trickling its way down into 2019. It's not like there's a real physical barrier between December 31st and January 1st, but you guys get the idea that we're going into the spring and we're going to have a heck of a lot more inventory. Rates are cooperating right now. I think it's time for people to look at, if you are looking at a transaction, and thankfully some of the IRS, I think they put back 45,000 employees or something like that, and they said, go back to work, please. We need our refunds. So the refunds will hopefully be out there, and you can count on your taxes getting done. That's incredibly important, especially when you're self-employed. And once you pass that date of, so January 31st, you have to supply your 2018 W-2s. But after, was it April 15th, or is it, I think it's April 15th, you have to, unless you file an extension, you have to provide your taxes. So if you're looking somewhere around buying a house before April 15th, then you can use your 2017 taxes, but after that you have to use your 17, you have to use your 2018. So these are things that we talk about all the time because we want people to be prepared, and that includes going out and getting a pre-approval letter if you are going to be in the market. But if you are self-employed, and we talk about this, you're doing a self-employed transaction right now where you had to go back 2 years on the transaction. 18 was a great year, but 16 and 17 wasn't so good. And that is his real income. You can't use P&Ls to calculate income. So these are the kind of plannings that we really want people to pay attention to, especially at the beginning and then the April.
Yeah, I mean, that does happen sometimes. We go off of a 2-year average. Right now, technically, we'd like to be able to use 2018, 2017. However, the IRS, the tax returns, the 4506 results, the transcripts, as we call them, will not be ready probably for at least 60 days. So if you're a self-employed borrower, unfortunately, you got a gangbuster year in 2018, your income is going to be based upon your 2017 and 16 average.
Again, you might have 16 and 17. That was great.
Rather than 2018, because those returns have not yet been filed. They might have been filed, but they haven't been transcribed yet. So right around this time of the year, it's kind of really a very unique period for a self-employed borrower, because we're waiting to get those tax returns, hopefully to boost your income, to give you more income so you can qualify for more property.
You can always shoot us an email, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com or Gordon@BayAreaLoanSource.com. These are the questions we like to help people with, to help them get into financing. Again, that's BayAreaLoanSource.com for more information. Purchase mortgage applications, they reach an 8-year high. If you look at the chart, it's a fascinating chart that no matter what rates we're doing over that 8-year period, purchase applications has actually been rising going back all the way to 2013 and 12. So it's a really good sign to see we're still applying for home mortgage. Refinance application is up, I think, 20-something%. Last week it was up 30% from week over week. And those are good signs that people are listening to the numbers. They're seeing that, okay, I can refinance with the low rates. A lot more people are taking cash out. I didn't pull that number. I saw it earlier that it's like 46 or maybe even higher. Maybe it's like 66% of the people that are doing just your traditional refinances are actually pulling cash out. And when you can get back into that low, the mid fours and sometimes even low fours, if you have the right credit score and equity, it can make a lot of sense, especially if you're paying off some debt. We've talked about this almost week after week after week, but we don't see enough people doing it. I believe it's about 25% of the people that own a house in the United States do not refinance because they think it's just too much of a hassle and there's money left on the table.
I've got it's interesting that I have a call from a client today looking to refinance. Of course, the challenge for this particular client, about 3 years ago, they did a 30-year fix. The guy has a 30-year fix at 3.5%. He doesn't want to touch that rate, but by the time we do the nominal numbers and comparing, getting them Equiline, comparing, giving him a second, an actual new first, it probably pencil out higher. But he's dumbfounded on the fact that his interest rate's actually going to go up on his first. But I said, look, if you look at the if you combine both mortgages in one loan with the higher rate right now in the low fours, if you look at an adjustable on an Equiline, it's an interest-only payment. You're shooting yourself in the foot for the future. So I had to kind of back him off at 3.5%, even though his rate is going to go up. It actually does make more financial, economic sense to do a brand new first, even though he's coming out of the lower rate going into higher rate, because he needs to benefit from the cash out.
Oh, relax now. I heard you hit the mic there at the time. You were just...
Oh yeah, I get excited when I talk rates and I talk real life situations. And it kind of makes me excited because these are the kind of things that we deal with clients all day. I had another client today called. He's 82 years old. He can't afford his house anymore. He was an adjustable rate now. The payments are going up. He's nervous. He can't qualify for a new loan. We ran the reverse mortgage calculator. There's not enough equity in the property for him to qualify for reverse mortgage. I'm not sure what scenario I'm going to come up with this gentleman, but I'm working on it.
I want to give you some trivia here since it's Gordon Mindreader Hines. M for Mindreader. What is the most popular name in the United States for the most valuable homes by state?
The most popular name in the United States for the most
valuable homes per state.
I don't know. Victorian?
Nope. And A-N-N-E. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's several states. What's the most popular homeowner name in each state? Let's just take California, for example.
Popular homeowner's name is Bobby John?
Salvador.
Interesting.
Right. Interesting. Heidi is Oregon. Heidi is also Washington.
Does the president know that the most important name is Salvador?
No, you don't. Or Guadalupe is in Texas. Gilbert is in, I think, New Mexico, and Arizona is also Guadalupe. There's a seminar coming up this week, or I think in the next couple of weeks at robblack.com. This is the perfect type of seminar that you'd want to go to if you have some tax issues that you want to look at. If you're looking at doing a transaction, you want to talk to someone like Chad Burton or Rob Black or myself. I will be there. I'm looking at answering many questions, and I hope you guys can be there. Go to robblack.com to sign up, robblack.com to sign up. We have a little bit of a technical issues today, so we're going to try to fade out. Perfect timing. We'll come back after this break. I'm Tony Mendes, and that's Gordon Hines. You can always go to our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com. We'll be right back.
Phone lines are open on the Real Estate Report. 800-516-1220. That's 800-516-1220.
6 to 7. The drive time special. What a great weather we had yesterday, would you say?
Didn't your basement flood or something? I love hearing those stories.
Water came in and I got water out. So it's a balancing act.
If you want to amuse yourself, obviously, everybody's heard the whole theory that if it's raining here, it's snowing in Tahoe. Go to Caltran cameras and then zoom in on the Tahoe cameras, and it's entertaining. But people walking around, their cars, walking dogs, they're stuck in traffic. Now, I know you guys have been there. I've been there multiple times, and it stinks. But
I think anybody that's actually driven it to Tahoe in the wintertime is stuck. I was stuck. My longest time is 4 hours, just stuck.
Stuck for 4 hours.
Yeah,
it's taken me 8 hours to go from Colfax to Floriston.
I was sitting there for 4 hours, and all of a sudden, traffic started moving, and I followed.
The important thing is that it's great for our economy when it snows. It's great for the water supply. And as long as it's snow and not rain during the winter, I am happy. It's a long weekend this weekend. A lot of people are heading up there. I'm sure tomorrow's traffic is going to stink as well. With that said,
should be a great snow weekend.
Should be a great weekend. Yeah. Fresh powder and everything. Interest rates continue to be one of the themes that we've been talking about for it seems like years now. We had great low interest rates in 2013. They creeped up a little bit, and then they crept down a little bit, and they come back up, and now they've leveled off again in the mid fours. Freddie Mac weekly survey has the 30-year fixed at 4.45%, the 15-year fixed at 3.88, and the 5-year ARM at 3.87. We don't talk about the 15-year as often as we should. A lot of people get into their loan. They could be at 4.5%, and they've been in it. They just never saw the motivation to go to 4% or 4.25%, and they just ignored it. But now they're 10 years in, and they're going, okay, I can get 3.88%, and I can shave 5 years off of my loan and pay my house off earlier, and my payments may not go up as much. Maybe you take a little cash out and pay off some debt, and you knock down a $500 credit card payment, but your payment only goes up $300, so you're actually maybe breaking even. The 15-year can make sense for a lot of people.
The 15-year, we always talk on the show many times, 15-year is the best loan in the marketplace. If you want to pay off your loan and have more equity and just, retire in a nest where you own the property free and clear. The problem is, especially in our area, the prices are just so high that it's not very
hard payment.
Usable for people to afford a 15-year payment. In other states where you're looking at the average price of $130,000, $120,000, 15-year loans should be the norm. But here, where our average price is $500,000, $600,000, it's really hard for most people to struggle to make the 15-year payment. Then by the time you factor in the property taxes, our property taxes are very high. It can be an astronomical number, and that's the biggest challenge we find when I'm trying to convert people from a 30-year to 15-year, even though the 15-year does make a lot more economic and equity sense.
In fact, we see a lot more people going into ARMs when they have those high mortgages. In fact, the roughly 76% of borrowers refinancing an ARM loan goes with another ARM. 31% of those refinancing fixed rate loans go into an ARM. So you can look at that big difference, especially in that jumbo loan. Let's just say it's $1 million just to make it easy. You could easily see $400 or $500 difference in your payment to end up with the same balance after that same period of time. Let's say it's 7 years, for example. And you start adding the numbers up, and you can see some great, you're talking $20,000, $30,000 in savings over that same period of time, in which you could do whatever you want with. You could put it towards your principal, you could put it towards vacations, your retirement. Obviously, we want you to be able to do both, which is your retirement and have some pay your house down at the same time. But ARMs are coming back in a way.
ARMs are popular. If we talk, once rates start to go up, the ARM product all of a sudden becomes very, very attractive. It's like the ugly girl as it gets later on at night to become more and more attractive. But it's the same thing. I think with the amount of financial calculators that are out there, you can actually create and customize your own mortgage based on where you are, regardless of what type of loan you are. You can go in and add in $100 extra principal or one extra payment a year, and you can kind of see what the benefits is going to be in paying that loan off. So there's no need for us to be in financial darkness. There's just too many tools out there that are on the web that we can actually work through. A lot of them are user friendly. You just got to go from one to the other and find the one that works for you. You can actually keep a great eye on your mortgage and how you're going to pay it off and what your balance is going to be at your projected time of retirement.
So we're going to continue talking about some of the themes of 2019 and how 2018 ended up. I was really happy to see that 2018 was successful for brokers, Gordon. One of the things, we're going to come back and talk about why mortgage lending at places like Wells Fargo, Chase, and Citi, they're plunging. This is something that you talk about all the time as a broker, Gordon, because brokerages are getting a lot more business. We've gone back over the 50% mark, and we're taking the majority of the business, and there's a reason why. We want to talk a little bit more about that when we come back. And anything else you want to talk about, 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220. And you can always email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com or Gordon@BayAreaLoanSource.com. Again, we love doing scenarios. This is, and we love helping people get into financing, and we make things work. I used to have a saying, I get loans done. I'm going to get rid of that. I got a lot of flack for that.
The company's saying is we loan money fast, and that's what we do.
All right, we'll come back after this break. I'm Tony Mendez. That's Gordon Hines. This is the Real Estate Report. You can always email me, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com, or visit our website, BayAreaLoanSource.com. We'll come right back after this break here on AM 1220 KDOW.
Tony and Gordon are taking your calls at 800-516-1220. It's the Real Estate Report on AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
Guys, welcome to Call the Show, 800-516-1220, 800-516-1220, or email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. Lines are open. We left last segment talking about how mortgage brokers in the whole United States as a whole are taking more and more of the business. Wells Fargo is losing more business, including Citi and Chase, and they're down 20-30% in some of these cases in origination. They're saying people just aren't borrowing from us anymore, and the ones that do, we're not making as much money as it, and they're kind of backing off. They're taking only the high A paper clients, A paper meaning great credit scores, great equities, and great assets, and they they're kind of pushing the other ones aside. But as a broker, Gordon, you've been in the business a long time. Have you ever seen banks kind of just fade back that?
Well, I think brokers have gotten a bad name over many years. Insurance brokers, airline brokers, a broker, everybody considered a broker to be just a middleman and just charging a fee or profit for no benefit. But I think if, I've learned myself, I got a great insurance broker. Instead of going to the big box insurance company, I go to him. They find me the best deals, the best transactions. Same thing in our business. You want the best deal, you come to a mortgage broker. We're the soldiers of the business. We've been going out and getting businesses. We've been going to people's houses. People pay jobs. I've seen brokers taking applications in the park. And that's something that the big lenders weren't willing to do. If you wanted something, you had to go to them. Where the broker's philosophy is, we'll come to you. And I think that made a huge difference over time. Service is what people are most important. That's the reason why big stores like Nordstrom's and those stores that sell a lot of service get a lot of benefit. Where, not everybody wants the low cost, price cut type deal, especially when it comes to personal finance.
And you walk into a place, you do a transaction, into a bank that is, and then 2 or 3 years later you do another one, it's a different person. And you go, hey, where'd that person go? Oh, they went to a brokerage. A lot of people who start off in banks and they end up at brokerages. But I think the point is that when you are looking at a home loan of any type, the listeners out there, is a broker has more options for you, meaning that entity is going to work with, how many investors do you work with? Probably 14, 15 or something like that, which means that there's a higher likelihood that your scenario is going to fit into one of our boxes. And that's really what it means. You're not boxed in to whatever product that bank has, as opposed to spreading out with a broker. So that's where I like brokers. We're always welcome to entertain any of your questions. You can email us, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com or Gordon at BayAreaLoanSource.com. There's a lot of other news out there. What do you think of this one, Gordon, where we're seeing what more states are adopting remote notarizing? Are you aware of that? So we have about 7 states right now where you can actually do a transaction, period, without ever seeing a notary or even a loan officer.
Really?
Do you like that?
I'm not familiar with the remote notarizing. I can't imagine a notary had to be there to validate that you're actually signing that document. So what does that mean, remote notarizing?
So India, Tennessee, Virginia, Montana, Texas, and Nevada are adopting laws to allow notaries in these states to perform online notarization for real property transactions.
Well, I guess with a webcam, you should be able to validate the person, take a thumbprint and a picture to a picture ID. I guess with face recognition. I guess technology. I guess that's the good thing about that. That sounds like that's a technological move, and it sounds to me like some of these states are ahead of the curve, and they're finally absorbing and reaching out and embracing technology, and that's what that's all about.
They're embracing the whole phase of the technology that we're going through, right? The technology bump that we're going through with, the lenders, and, the way that they can get your W-2s. And we get approvals now where they don't even ask for income because they already got it. We get 1 or 2 day approvals now. Sometimes even, we got one the other day. It was the same day approval. And it's because of this technology boom that we're going through right now in the mortgage industry. And I embrace it, although I still like meeting people and physically, engaging with people. It makes much more sense, in my opinion, and you get to know the person. And that's what brokers are all about. We'll come back after this break. I'm Tony Mendez, and that's Gordon Hines. You can always call the show, 800-516-1220, or email the show, Tony@BayAreaLoanSource.com. We'll be right back.
Got a question? Run it past these guys. 800-516-1220. It's the Real Estate Report with Tony Mendez and Gordon Hines on AM 1220 KDOW.
She's a very kinky girl.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
Oh, I miss the days. Good old funky days.
Throwback early 1980s?
Yeah, early 80s.
Early 80s?
Yeah. I have a theory about the 80s music.
Okay.
It really created the best music we've ever seen, and that's in the 90s. And we had to go through some trials and tribulations, including hip-hop.
I have a thing about the 80s music. It was a great disappointment from the 70s and the 60s. With a great...
No, well, everybody has an opinion. That's kind of like orifices, I suppose. So Redfin came out with their 10 hottest neighborhoods of 2019. And the Bay Area hit the list again. And that's Marywood, Oakland came in second. You know where Marywood is, don't you?
No.
I think it's just above 17. So that came in second. Mission Terrace came in third, and everything else is either Washington, D.C. or someplace in Washington. I think, Berkeley Hills. And they're calling these the hottest neighborhoods in the United States based on things like median sales price, average sales to list price ratios, meaning, for example, the percentage of houses that sell over their list price. And Berkeley... I'm sorry, not Berkeley, but Marywood hit, what was that percentage? Actually cut off the page. But it was high. It was like 78% of homes that sell end up going over list price, which is another thing that we watch quite often, Gordon, is asking price, list price, sale price. What numbers, what are we looking at? Are we looking, San Jose, for example, they went through a phase just recently where home prices were dropping. They were getting fewer and fewer over asking price offers, as opposed to places like Marywood in this case, where they're getting over asking prices. A little better, commute to San Francisco. Did you read that article in Business Insider about and it kind of did an in-depth look at the life of a millennial or somebody under 30 years old, tech industry person living in these like communes, like a 4-bedroom house turned into like 30 beds where they pay like $1,500. I mean, so these people are living in San Francisco, and they're looking at, a much larger area to live in, and they just have to sacrifice the commute.
Well, I mean, that's a sign of the times, as I would like to say. But, going back, we always talk about on the show, of course. We give a lot of statistics that we get off the different services. One thing about the statistics, you all have to qualify it. If you're trying to quantify asking price versus list price, we came through a period of time where a lot of realtors were lowballing listings in the event to create and drive more energy to the property. So a lot of these properties might have sold at 200% over asking price, but the true asking price might have been only 10% over asking price.
Right.
It was a strategy that worked very well. So now if you look at that formula now, you won't see that formula now because most people have come back to reality. Most listings now are very close to their asking price because that's what the sellers now are expecting.
A little more realistic.
As a price coming in. So they're no longer holding out for, the offer dates and, creating and driving more traffic to that property. They're taking offers as they come, meaning if you bring something reasonable, very close to the asking price, the seller's going to accept it. So those kind of statistic numbers, you got to really sit down and understand the mechanics of a transaction, what we're actually doing in certain times, or times that we just came in out of, times that we're going into.
So you're a realtor, and if you were working with a buyer that was looking at a property that that looked like it was priced right, would you try to lowball them? You are the realtor. You're working in their best interest. You have a fiduciary duty to these people. Or would you say, listen, if you really like this house, you're going to have to go over asking price? Is there enough data or do you have to make that determination? And two, do you have to go to the realtor and just follow their lead? Listing agent.
There is, if you're an astute realtor, there's a lot of data out there you can look at. You look at, what school district the kids are going to go to, even though it's in a particular neighborhood. What did the other one sell for just like it? Was it completely remodeled? Was it staged? You got to look at all the factors going in. And there are some people that want this house more than some. I've seen people, I wrote offers and people came in $100,000 over asking price, and somebody wanted it more and paid $120,000. Where I said, well, I wouldn't have paid that much for it, but someone else did, and that's what they wanted. So it's one of those things where you gotta stay within your comfort level of your buyer. You make sure that they're comfortable what they're actually paying for, and they're not throwing a number out there. And what can you actually live with if you're trying to make this property become your own?
I may be bastardizing this word, but what are your thoughts on a graduated offer? Do you know what that is? What I mean is that your offer will sit there and it will always beat the highest offer.
I mean, that's a technique that most people don't. Most astute realtors don't go for. Everybody wants you to put your best foot forward. I've seen that game played over and over again. It doesn't really quite work out as most people think it does. At the end of the day, during the times we just came out of, in any property, if there's multiple offers, 99 chance out of 100 that offer is going to go to the highest bidder that qualifies. So if you got the highest bidder, you're putting down enough money, you're sure that you're actually qualified, that the realtor is going to call and verify with your mortgage person that you're qualified for this loan, you're going to get that property 9 chance out of 10.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely one thing we've seen more often is where that listing agent always calls, hey, just tell me a little bit more about this buyer here. In a lot of cases too, we're actually initiating the phone call where we're calling the listing agent saying, hey, so-and-so just put an offer in. We'd like to talk to you about how strong they are. And even those little things like that really make a difference because there are a lot of people that still kind of just test the market even though they're not qualified. And realtors are still kind of fearful of that, especially, the listing agents, that is what I mean. And they do like hearing those types of things. I wanted to, before the break, Gordon, I wanted to talk about it's not a new kind of strategy to do renovations on your home, but a lot of people are looking at doing some sort of upgrade to their property. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have what they call renovation loans. And sometimes you don't fit into that box. You can always get what they call a construction loan. A lot of people think that a construction loan is meant just to build a house, but you can actually use a construction loan to fix up a house and then you base that down, or that equity or that you qualify with, on the future value of the property. Let's say you're adding an auxiliary unit and your kid's fixing up some rooms or adding a bathroom in another room. So these construction lenders as well are stepping up and filling in some of the gaps that Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae and FHA are not allowing.
Yeah, there's a great program on TV where I think it's called List It or Keep It, where people have a current house, a woman comes in, tell them what their dream list is. she goes and make the improvements. They go out and look at a house that's bigger, that wants all the amenities, and they have to decide if they want to keep the house that they're in or they're going to buy a house. It's the same type of concept. We've seen that a lot. When prices start to go up, that becomes a very, very formidable bid.
I'd like to see a little bit more of that in this area because a lot of people are looking to add some, auxiliary units or just do some upgrades and they just don't know how to do it. You can always give us an email. We can help you do that. Tony at BayAreaLoanSource.com or Gordon at BayAreaLoanSource.com. We'll be back after this break here on AM 1220 KDOW.
Questions about real estate? Call the program 800-516-1220. Now, back to the Real Estate Report on AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back into the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez.
And I'm Gordon Hines.
Yeah. Thank you. 2018 kind of ended with a little whimper. December showed the lowest level of year-over-year price growth since 2012. Wow, since March of 2012, it's seen the lowest year-over-year price growth. Median home price in the United States was $289,000. That was 1.2% year-over-year. Homes sold were over a year period in December were 10.9% down. New listings were 4.1% down. All homes for sale were 4.8% up. It kind of slowed down at the end of the year, but I like looking at the opportunities out there. We are looking at moving towards, we're not there yet, we're moving towards a buyer's market, or at least a more normalized market. Right now it's about 3.1 months of homes that they sit on the market. That's the amount of inventory we have. 6 months is considered normal. But Gordon, with how fast we can buy homes now, with the way that lenders are working, the way that brokers are working with lenders, they've made it very easy. I would say more like 5 months is more of a normal market because we can get rid of those homes a little bit quicker, don't you think?
Well, I mean, you said a lot of things.
I know it. I do.
If I go back and kind of summarize or make one statement, 2018 was a great year. We're talking about the economy. So if we talk about home sales, and we always talk, a home produces the most amount of related item sales than any other product sold in our country, right? So that kind of reason why the economy is doing so well, because a lot of money is being generated every time a home is sold. People move, they sell, they throw stuff away. It's all kinds of money that's being spent and earned. It's very, very good for the economy when homes are selling. And everybody eats, as they say. So when you go back and you look at what you just said, you look at the overall real estate market, you look at timing on the market. how effective brokers have become, how effective our business has become with the qualified mortgage and everything that's going into our business, which makes our business strong and stronger during tougher times as they're projected to come. Qualified markets, skin of the game, people are less likely to walk away from properties. So anytime there is a challenge to our economy, I think the housing market is the mainstay of the economic indicator of which way the market's going.
Yeah, I think if you look at it that way, and over the, we're like where we were at the beginning of 2018, and a lot of people say, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the equity that I built. I'm okay with the amount of principal that I've paid off. You have to remember, every month you're still making principal. So being in a house right now seems to be what everybody wants to do, and I'm excited to see that more inventory is hitting the market. It sounds really corny, but I really am, because the transactions makes sense, and these people are buying houses somewhere else, and we're seeing cities across the United States really benefit. Texas is doing very well. A lot of smaller towns in the West are doing well. The Northeast is doing as well, but the Southeast is doing very, very well. So we're seeing kind of a shuffle around right now of real estate. With that said, again, this is the Real Estate Report. You can always email the show, Tony at BarryLoanSource.com or Gordon at BarryLoanSource.com. It could be anything about jumbo loans, points, it could be ARMs. Are you doing a cash out loan? Should you be doing an equity line instead of a cash out loan?
Or just general overall question. This is the time of the program we always talk about this day in history.
Sure.
I mean, actually, 1953, the Chevrolet Corvette made its debut. One of the last, I think the oldest car that's been still in standard production, the Chevrolet Corvette. The PGA standard in 1916 and 1976. We instituted death penalty. Gary Gilmore, and today was the first guy that executed after the death penalty was reinstituted. So a lot of changes going to social events, social things. We talk about things that are real to our marketplace. That's why we're here.
And if you have any questions about that, you can always email us, Tony at BayAreaLoanSource.com. Tax time's coming up. Definitely take a look at your taxes. If you're doing a transaction coming up soon, check with your real estate expert. You can call us, 800-516-1220, or email us, Tony at BayAreaLoanSource.com or Gordon at BayAreaLoanSource.com. This is what we do, and we love helping people out. We'll come back next week here on the AM 1220 KDOW. This is the Real Estate Report. I'm Tony Mendez, and that's Gordon Hines.